Hey there, it's Ann Pearson, and welcome back to the Paralegal Coach Podcast. We took a break from our Paralegal Survival Toolkit series last week because I really wanted to get that interview out to you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you missed it because you were busy after the holidays, go back and listen to it. I promise you it's worth it. Jacob Reeder's story is going to inspire you. All right. We're jumping back into our 8-part series, the Paralegal Survival Toolkit. And for those of you following along, this is session 5. If you're new to the podcast and to the series, let me give you a quick reminder. Session 1 was how to get control of your workload. Session 2 was how to learn faster and gain confidence. In session 3, I talked about the communication skill that saves paralegal careers. That's an important one. Then in session 4, the one right before I interviewed Jacob, that was giving you some BRAVE boundaries. And BRAVE was an acronym that I used for a framework that I put together to help you with that one. And well, because you know I love a good framework, I've got another one for you in this session. I promise you, I don't do these all the time, but when it comes to me, the word comes to me and I think, how can I do this in a way that they'll remember? This one is all about how to earn respect without begging for it, essentially. And so when I write out the word respect on a piece of paper, I think, well, first, I feel like I want to start breaking out into the Aretha Franklin song, right? I won't let you suffer through that. But when I write out RESPECT, I think, okay, is what I'm going to teach, how could that align with those letters? So with respect, we're talking about something that almost every paralegal experiences at least once in their career, especially early on, and that is feeling undervalued or overlooked or feeling like you're just the assistant. And I use air quotes for that. So if you've ever had an attorney cut you off mid-sentence or dismiss your input or not even ask for it, or maybe they give all the quote good work to the associate, you're definitely not alone. Every industry survey, every paralegal roundtable that I've ever attended, they all say the same thing. Paralegals want respect and often don't feel like they get it, especially in the beginning. But here's the good news. Respect isn't a personality trait. It's a skill set, and you can develop it. So today I'm going to give you the framework that's going to help build credibility so that attorneys will eventually trust you, rely on you, and actually see the value that you bring. So these are going to be 7 behaviors because there's 7 letters in respect. And so this framework is going to help you go from overlooked to trusted. Now, you still have to earn it. This isn't just going to be, okay, I do the RESPECT thing and tomorrow morning I walk in and I'm no longer feeling like I'm just the assistant. So let's walk you through it. So the first one, R. R stands for results first. Nothing earns respect faster than consistently delivering high quality work. You don't need perfection 100% of the time. It needs to be close when you work with attorneys, but more so you need reliability. And ask yourself, did I complete the task fully? Did I anticipate the next step? Did I make their life and their job easier? So respect is more than just job titles. And that's where I'm going to refer you back to that interview with Jacob because we really dove into that, how your job title, which his was a receptionist or front desk person, your job title really doesn't matter. It's more about the work that you do. So, I talk about this a lot in my group coaching calls in some of my training programs. And this is what I mean by showing results first. Attorneys spend 3 years in law school having it drilled into them that they need to prove their case with evidence. They need to support their arguments with facts that they can prove. I remember one time a colleague, an attorney who had been practicing for many years and maybe had just made partner, I think, at the firm. He told me that he was a different person after he graduated from law school than when he was when he started law school. That law school didn't just teach him the law. that it kind of fundamentally changed how he viewed people, life, conversations, everyday things. And I tell you that because when I say results first, I also mean that this is one of those more important steps, right? Attorneys want to see proof. Prove to them that you can do the job and that you own the outcome. You can sit there and tell them till you're blue in the face that you're capable of doing X, Y, Z. But until you show it, literally, where's the evidence? That's what you want to think of when you think of working with the attorneys. Where's the evidence that I can show them the results first? Okay, E, establish what I'm going to call micro credibility moments. These are the tiny habits that make attorneys think, oh, they know what they're doing. Some examples might be sending clear, concise updates to the attorneys before they ask for it, double checking your facts, preparing 2 or 3 steps ahead, handing in clean drafts as if that draft is ready to be filed. Respects are built in these micro moments, not just the big wins. If you're a litigation paralegal, you might think the big win is when you go to trial. You think, that's when I'm really going to show this attorney how great I am. You just started at this job a year or 2 ago, and this attorney doesn't realize that at your prior firm, you were known as the superstar trial paralegal. And you know what? Maybe you are a great trial paralegal. The problem is you don't get that many times at bat to show your attorneys that you're a great trial paralegal. Do you know when you do get the opportunity to show your attorneys how you're a great paralegal? In all of those little micro moments for the 3 years in between now and your next trial. You have a lot more of those micro moments than you do the big wins. I like to call it like times at bat, right? There's baseball players and they want to hit that home run. And as a trial paralegal, that's what would be your home run, right? The trial. But you have all of these other times that you're at bat that you could just hit bases. And I'm not a huge baseball fan. I don't know why I came up with that analogy, but that's kind of what it is. Think about whether it's this big, huge commercial closing, if you're a real estate paralegal, or this big, huge thing that comes in, right? You don't have a lot of those moments, but what you do have tons of are all of those little moments in between those big times at bat. Okay, that was E. S is speak with initiative. And not just speak, right? Act with initiative too. But instead of asking, what should I do next when you hand something in, try, well, here's what I'm planning to do next. Does that work for you? Or here are 2 options for how I can handle this. Which one do you prefer? Right? So you're not making them have to think about it. Or how about, I noticed a gap in this and here's how I can fix it. I have an entire module on this topic inside the RISE Legal Support Mastery Program that I call Own the Outcome. Because when you ask, what should I do next? You're asking the attorney to do more work. Now they have to think to themselves, what's next on this file? Don't make them do any more work. Instead, speak with initiative. And I'm going to say it. The way for you to be able to take initiative and speak with initiative is to know what's going on in your files. But I'm not going to harp on that one in this episode. Okay, let's move on to P. Prepare before meetings. Even if you're not required to prepare, do it anyway. A little brutal honesty here for you. I did not prepare for meetings until probably 10 years into my career. Big mistake. I didn't know it at the time. I would just rush into the meeting that the attorney had called. And I will tell you that the only way I was able to survive was because of what I was doing that I teach inside the litigation boot camp. I knew every single thing that was going on in all of my cases. I didn't have to read the file because I knew the file like the back of my hand. But I also was working on very large cases with millions of pages of document productions, dozens of things being filed every day in the cases. So that might not always be the case for you, right? You might be managing 80 small cases. So read the file or have a summary of what's going on in all of those 80 cases. Generally, we've got 25 cases or 25 files that are at this stage, and we've got 20 that are at this stage, and here's our top 10 critical things, and what's going on in those top 10 is maybe what you need to have. But read the file, look at the recent emails, review the deadlines. So when someone says in that meeting, what's the status on this? You can answer it confidently. All right. Our next E, elevate your role. Stop referring to yourself as just the paralegal or I'm just a newbie. Your role is strategic. You're the project manager of the legal world. That's what I'll call you. Project manager. You're the PM of the legal world. You anticipate, you track, you catch errors, you keep cases and files moving. When you see your role as elevated, others will too. I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. If you are a new paralegal, stop calling yourself a newbie. You're not a newbie. You are a professional paralegal. That's it. Or if your firm has different titles for different levels, right? Just because your, quote, official job title is junior paralegal, that doesn't mean you need to introduce yourself as that. You're just a paralegal. Get rid of the precursor words like entry level, junior, assistant, all of that. You're a paralegal, period. C, communicate wins. Okay, this isn't bragging. This is visibility. Attorneys are busy and they forget what's been done. So keep them informed. During those meetings, say things like, the discovery on this case is completed and uploaded. The hearing is confirmed. Deadlines for this month are all calendared. This shows ownership and it keeps your contributions visible. But it's not just your attorneys, especially if you have an HR department that conducts annual performance reviews. Maybe they don't know that you took a paralegal bootcamp course this past year to improve your performance. Tell them. Maybe they don't know that the client wrote an email complimenting the work that you did for them. Tell them. You don't have to do it each individual time that something happens. Maybe you just keep it in an electronic folder on your desktop and you add to it throughout the year. And then once a year, you summarize it all for HR. I want to leave you with this. Don't assume that anyone is paying attention to your accomplishments. They're too busy with their own stuff. You have to communicate your wins. Okay, T, take ownership. Ownership is bringing solutions, not problems. It is following up without being asked to. It's asking clarifying questions early. We could go back to the episode on the communication skill, right? Being able to have courageous conversations before the problem goes south. That's part of taking ownership as well. Ownership is the fastest way to shift the dynamic from task taker to trusted, respected professional. I want to add something here, though. I don't just want you to take ownership of your work product. I want you to take ownership of your paralegal career. You may have remembered this story, but I want to tell it again for those listening to really get the point home. So many years ago, I was closing out my invoice at the car dealership for some work that they did. And the guy said, you're going to get a call from headquarters and they're going to ask for a rating of my work. If you would rate me any less than 5 stars, can we talk about it now so that I can improve your experience and make sure that you give me 5 stars? And at first, I was taken back a little. I was thinking, boy, he's being forward. What if I was going to give him a 3? I don't think I'd tell him that. But then the way he approached it and said that, what can I do? So if I was thinking that he was a 3, he's giving me the opportunity to go from 3 stars to 5 stars by being forward and asking me. That's when I realized, he's taking charge of his career. He's not leaving it to guessing games. And that made me think, if the guy at the car dealership who's had maybe 20 minutes of interaction with me can do that, why can't paralegals? You're working with attorneys for 8 hours a day all year long. don't wait until the end of the year-end performance review time to see how you're doing. A couple of times throughout the year, just ask them. Say something like, is there anything I could be doing to support you better? Or if you were to do my annual performance review right now, is there anything that you would rate me less than 5 stars on? Because I want to improve it. It's just simple as that. So let's get real here. Respect isn't something you wait for and hope that it makes it your way. It's something that you create. You create it through your behavior, consistency, and confidence. Now, I want to be very clear about something here. Being undervalued does not mean you're unworthy. It means that people around you just haven't seen your full capability yet. Big yet there. People haven't seen your full capability yet. But that changes the minute you start to set higher standards for yourself and communicate more clearly, take initiative, and consistently deliver evidence to support the idea that you're a rock star paralegal. All right. So remember, to help you with today's episode, I did that Paralegal Survival Toolkit download. You can go to section 5 where you'll find more information about what I talked about in this section. And then next week, we're going to talk about something paralegals rarely get help with: navigating workplace culture and office politics, especially when you're the new person on the team. But it's going to be eye-opening even if you're not. So I want to close out by saying you deserve respect. You deserve to be valued. You deserve to be seen for the professional that you are. So remember, RESPECT. I'm not going to start singing it. All right. See you next week. Bye for now.